Maybe in a decade they take me out on a stretcher till I come back like Roman Reigns. Blood in my veins still boiling and the pot finna bubble up. 10 blunts lit, I got the drop in the double cup. Bro, they know I'm at the spot and I'm finna fuck them up. Pearly gates waiting but it's no heaven. Call me baby reverend. Choke him out like Dan Severn and my brother still bludgeon. We at the complex on a new day. Dreads to my ears, I look like Lupe. Yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of Permanent Marks.
Woo!
I am one of your hosts, Patty Buse, and our other host is
everybody's favorite Unc, aka Aaron. Before we get started, though, little PSA: myself and Patrick and Eric will be going to Dynamite this week, and if we are sticking to the regularly scheduled programming, this will probably air before then. So if you're in DC or if you're watching Dynamite, look for a Jared is God sign. That'll be myself.
It's true, Jared is God, though.
He is God. But also, aside from that, I just wanted to take a second to give a shout out to we don't talk about Impact Wrestling a lot on this show. But I want to shout out Alex Shelley for becoming the Impact World Heavyweight Champion.
He sure did.
Well deserved. That man has been grinding in that company, a loyal soldier. Him and Chris Sabin both for years. I'm sure we might talk about them a little bit on this episode. But now I'm going to pass it off to the friend of Alfonso and the man with the band so they can introduce themselves.
I'll go ahead. I'll go first. What's up? Eric Kelly. I'm back. I'm back in action.
He's here again.
Ready to rock. Feeling a little tired, but I'm good. Staying up all night playing Tecmo Bowl for fucking NES.
What's up, everybody? It's Mo Breezy in the house. Got my Lucy's behind me. Just wanted to feel represented. All the boys got their Lucy's in the back, so I got my little 345 Hardy Boys China figurines chilling with me today. So I'm ready to get to these prompts, brothers. Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got the special guest here today because it's the halfway point of the year, and we're going to do a little review. I'm sure these will change by the end of the year because it doesn't feel like it's been a whole half of the year already. Like I feel like I didn't think a lot happened, and then I looked back on it, and I was like, "Holy shit, man! There's been a lot of storylines."
Time flies, baby.
Yeah,
Sure do.
Time flies when you're jumping off that rope, baby.
Yes,
so we're gonna go down and kind of do a couple categories and pick what our favorite gimmicks or matches or storylines have been this year.
Mm-hmm.
This was all Aaron's idea. I think he just wanted to fight me for an hour and a half, which is what we're going to do.
Yes.
Let's all buckle up for WWE versus AEW.
Here we go. Think y'all know where I stand here.
Right, yeah.
And then in the background, baby, AEW
There
for
you
life.
go. There you go.
I'm a centrist as per usual. I have WWE figurines, but an AEW shirt on, so my loyalty is nowhere.
I'm repping
There you
Young
go.
Jericho too.
Right
And
down the middle.
it's
Offspring
okay.
Smash.
Virginia, there you go. Shout out to Virginia,
Hey,
the state. It'll be fine. Today we're gonna get in a little tussle. But once Aaron goes to AEW Dynamite and sees it live on Wednesday, feels that magic wash over him.
It's gonna be
He'll be a changed human being.
Man.
For the first time, I'm hyped. I'm going to get a BCC shirt, too. Even though Anarchy in the Arena was not 5 stars, I will get a BCC shirt or a hoodie, even though it wasn't 5 stars.
Name me another match that had a shoe that sparkles, baby. Let's go. Tell me.
Exploded.
It exploded in that face.
I will
all
also
right.
add too. Y'all are going to the anniversary show, or at least they're like the semi-anniversary.
Yeah.
So they're gonna load that card up. So Aaron, if you don't walk away a changed man, I don't know what else we can do for you.
It's a lot of wrestling too. Because we're gonna get there.
I love and respect AEW, and WWE. I just keep it real. Okay.
I keep it
That's
real.
all. We
Nah.
keep it
Keep
real.
real.
We'll see how real that holds up. But I thought we would start off with like the easy categories and kind of build to
Sure.
wrestler and match of the year, if that's cool with everybody.
Sure.
And I thought the first one that we would do would be like an easy one, considering who debuted this year. But I want to do like best debuts. So like, what do y'all think before I do mine? Who had the best debut this year?
I mean, who wants to go first? I'll go first. He sprung this on us kind of before the pod started, and I had to really think back. But now that I'm on the spot, I haven't thought about it at all. I mean, you've got Mercedes Moné and you've got Naomi, of course, or Trinity. Cody debuted 2022, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we
That
can't
was
count
their
that.
last WrestleMania.
We can't count that. You got Jay White this year as well. I think honestly, and you got Roddy, who Roderick Strong is one of my favorite wrestlers currently, and I really hope that we get to see him on Wednesday. I don't think he's scheduled, but I think we'll probably get to at least see a little bit of him because Adam Cole's wrestling.
Yeah.
But I think objectively it has to be Mercedes Moné.
That's who I picked too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Money.
I'm with you there for sure. Yeah.
She made the biggest splash out of all the people that
Money.
debuted.
I guess Punk will be a debut too. I guess
Second
since
coming,
it's announced
baby.
now,
Second coming.
Yeah.
Punk is in there too. But yeah, Monet, it kind of bums me out because I feel like she had a huge year set up and then she broke her ankle. Is that right?
Yeah, something happened in that. That was the Willow match, right?
Yeah, at New Japan Strong for their women's title.
Yeah, that's a bummer because I'm pretty sure what the plan was to have her and Britt at Forbidden Door. It seemed like, but yeah.
Yeah, but maybe she gets better in time that we see her at Wembley.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would prefer too, especially with Forbidden Door already being like one of the most fucking stacked cards I've seen in a while. And even having that cool ass Bryan Danielson promo in the desert leading up to it, I was like, God damn it, this is good.
Awesome. Yes, I love that.
I mean, you noticed too on AEW television, they've been showing like Mercedes Moné stuff.
Yeah.
You know that was like the plan probably, which is really unfortunate because I'm not going to lie, like the AEW women's division has been really heating up here in the past month or two. So, I mean, that's unfortunate, especially with, I will say the one silver lining of the whole thing is that Willow Nightingale has that title now and she's deserved to get.
Willow is great.
Yeah. And I feel like since she got that title, she's like become like even more, she's got like a layer of like badass to her character now too, whereas before,
it was
she was awesome before, but now there's a little more like, I don't know, like hardness to her,
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
She was playing that shuck and jive character that
I wouldn't say that.
No, she wasn't no way Jose in it, but
she wasn't that deep, but she was adjacent to it.
Well, they said the same thing about the New Day too, but I always was like,
yes, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Solo Sikoa, where Solo Sikoa is adjacent to that like Samoan cannibal, but he's good at making it not as
And we saw, I think. Mo, were you with us when me and Eric saw Willow? She was in like a bunch of dark matches before one of the Dynamites we went to, and like her daughter was in the crowd, and her daughter got into a fight with Lance Archer. So everybody in the audience was booing Lance Archer, but on TV you had like no idea what was happening.
I think you're complete. That was Jade. Jade's daughter.
Was that Jade?
Jade's daughter.
No, it was Willow's daughter. I thought.
I don't think Willow has kids.
I believe
maybe I'm wrong. It was definitely a kid that Willow was talking to during the dark match, so I thought it was her daughter.
I do know he like at
Yeah.
there's a little black child in the crowd. We can agree to that.
Getting bullied by a white man with dreads.
Cornrows that he gets done by a black hairdresser. So good for him. We like you, Lance Archer.
There you go.
But I will say too, I think if Chris Statlander hadn't taken that title off of Jade, I would have wanted it to be Willow Nightingale. But so I'm glad she has a title.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I think Willow. I always liked Willow. I thought like she was like a good in-ring wrestler who kind of kept it like slower, and the matches felt like really well thought out that she's done. But then I really liked it, and Aaron probably won't like this, but I really liked the Ruby hardcore match that they did.
Yeah,
that was really.
I got nervous about that because that spot with Anna Jay went wrong.
Oh yeah.
Anna Jay is like an AEW original, and so I felt like I was nervous that there would be retribution against Willow for just, shit happens a lot of time in these matches. And I felt like, man, we're not going to see her on TV for a minute. But I'm glad she's back.
Let's be real. There's a difference between a Nia Jax accident and a Willow Nightingale accident.
Right. But you never know backstage politics. Like Willow Nightingale, my perception is she's so sweet and so nice. But that doesn't stop you from, catching heat from people. So
yeah.
It's crazy that Anna Jay didn't get more fucked up from that spot.
Right.
Because that was essentially just straight up powerbomb off the stage onto the floor.
Right.
Because no table to brace your fall at all. But I don't know if y'all saw the All Access episode that involved that match. And you see them come backstage afterwards and Anna's fine. And someone's like, "Are you good?" And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. But I forget, someone else got a little banged up in that. But Anna's just like, yeah, I'm fine. Blah, blah, blah might be messed up. But yeah. And I was like, damn, okay.
She got very lucky.
Absorb that shit. It must have been that butt,
Is that
straight to butt.
straight to butt.
I mean, that's her thing. Fat ass and a bad attitude.
Or whatever it is. Good for her. That's a I guess.
Get there.
Mo would say that while she's standing next to Willow, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Not to talk about women's bodies, but I'm just saying. Objectively.
I mean, you could also say that Stat was a debut because she's almost like a completely different wrestler than when she left.
I was thinking about that. As far as if we're talking debut, as in just
coming to the company,
back after a long time or first time in the company.
Yeah. The Stat one, I might even. I mean, just because we were so jacked on it when that happened, I could almost put that at number one, but it probably is still Mercedes. And that first match she had was super good. So
the stat pop, in the theater too, because
that was sick.
Like I was saying last pod, I don't know anything about Stat, but I could just tell y'all were people in the theater was treating her like she was fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
She'd been gone for so long, and I feel like there'd been so much when she coming back, and probably a lot of people had the same thing that I had that night, where it was I lost hope. I was maybe it's not going to happen.
We were talking about it right before, and Eric was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Stat anymore," and blah blah blah. And then she came out, and it was awesome. And it's also she's just beloved. She's one of those early AEW weirdos. She was a fucking alien or whatever. And she was part of Best Friends.
My favorite theme song in AEW is Stat's theme song. I love it. It's so
90s.
Really?
Nice.
Wow.
It's so 90s WCW, fucking badass.
It is.
The new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun. I thought about that. I think it was last Dynamite when she was coming out for that match, and I was like, man, this is a classic jam. Very WCW jam.
Big Ripper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, cool. So Mercedes, I guess, is you got to give it to Mercedes.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I mean that was like the biggest.
Hands down. Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Clean sweep.
There you go.
All right. So Mercedes wins best debut.
Here's to you.
Here's to you, Monet.
Monet.
And then the next one, because this is kind of like a weird one, but best gimmick. Who had the best gimmick so far this year? Mine, if I'm going first, I don't know if it was this year that it started, but it's definitely this year where it got so much heat on it. And the gimmick I'm picking is the Dom's prison gimmick.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
That's a good one.
Like, because nobody has heat like that motherfucker. Like, it's insane. Like, he doesn't even have to say a word, and it's so over that like he can fuck up promos and people just like boo him harder. Like,
except for Don Callis now. Don's got.
yeah, Don's rival.
Don does have that heat too. Yeah.
There you go. I hope Don comes out at our Dynamite because so we can get loud as fuck up in there.
So I can throw my drink at Don Callis and get kicked out.
Throw that fucking $10 Pepsi down there.
Yeah. And this is at a bigger stadium, you were saying, right? This is
I think because it's like the anniversary show instead of doing because the other Dynamites had been, at least the ones that we had gone to in DC, were at that. I mean, but yeah. Anyway, they're doing it at Capital One Arena, which is like the big old arena for DC. You know, where like the Caps play and stuff like that. So that'll be fucking cool.
So they're covering up the ice with the mats.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I think they're keeping the ice down. Actually, I think they're
gonna do a break the ice match. Whoever's head breaks the ice first wins. But yeah, Aaron, you said you had some stuff to say about Dom.
I like that you chose Dominic because I look at it from the scope of for me just being like a wrestling nerd, and I look at Dominic as someone who I still feel like has a ways to go. But it seems like the general consensus on the internet is people love like how he's been diving into his character, and I think he's really a beneficiary of being in that WWE system. I will say this, hot take. I would love to see Dominic, even though it probably won't happen because he's a Mysterio. I'd love to see Dominic leave WWE and go to like AEW or CZW or ROH or something and hone his craft more, because I think he has it, he has the mindset of like how to be a good heel. I don't think he has the mindset of how to be a good babyface. His wrestling is solid. I think
his wrestling is pretty solid, yeah.
But I think he's really benefiting from whoever, like they have the best writers writing his shit. Like whoever's writing the Bloodline shit is writing his shit.
It's also like what a great way to learn on the job, because the gimmick kind of includes that he's going to fuck up the promo. So he has infinite chances to like get better at doing promos, because it doesn't matter if he fucks up. Like people just boo him louder.
No pressure.
Yeah. I would like to see him go somewhere too. I would never say that he should go somewhere anytime like soon. I feel like he has to ride this out.
Yeah, for sure.
At least another 2-3 years in that system, and then make the hop. You know.
Yeah. Ring of Honor could be sweet. Like pop to Ring of Honor, be there for a sec, and then hit AEW when you're like fully there.
If he went to Impact, I might watch Impact.
Or Impact, Impact would be sweet too.
I think you should just go to New Japan. Why not? Get some
true. Yeah.
Or what's the other one? All Japan, if that still exists. Mm-hmm. Like, why not?
I don't know if does All Japan still exist?
It does.
It does? Okay. I don't know.
You just
never got a streaming service.
You never hear about it anymore.
Yeah.
Or no, it's Pro Wrestling Noah. I'm sorry, Pro Wrestling Noah.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, what are y'all's gimmicks of the year so far?
So this is in no way new. It was just like one of the first things I thought of, and it's still somehow going like hard and going so well, and everyone like eats it up so much, is just the whole like Acclaimed thing.
Yeah.
Just like their whole everything their whole everything.
Yeah.
Like the fucking the freestyle as you're going down the ramp, the scissoring, the whole deal. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, obviously like they've been doing it for a bit, but it's somehow still everyone like still loves it, and they're just like the DX of of AEW.
And I think they weirdly benefited from not keeping the belts, like because you saw them less.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, well, that I guess I should say like I thought it was good that like even though they lost the belts, because I was nervous like, oh, they lost the belts and now like they're gonna kind of like be on the back burner and like no one's really gonna like be super jacked for them anymore. But everyone stayed highly jacked on them, which is good. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and piggyback off of what Eric said, because I was kind of torn between. I should let folks know. I know what I said earlier about being a centrist. All I watch is AEW. All I watch is 2 hours of and all I watch is Dynamite. I try to watch Rampage, but I live a life on the weekend. Sorry to Rampage. Sorry to Collision.
Sorry to everybody else in this group.
You better make time for Collision when that shit comes on.
I'm gonna have to watch it after, because I'm gonna have friends in town, so I can't watch it when it happens. But all that to say, I was really struggling to figure out what gimmick I actually feel excited about when I watch AEW. And I think I feel good about saying the Acclaimed. I feel like I have to push back a little bit on this idea that them losing the belts, I think, was a bad idea. I love the Guns. We could talk about that more when we get to best storyline, because I got something coming your way that ain't gonna make no sense. But all that to say, I feel like when the Acclaim dropped those belts, it didn't make any sense. And even now, thinking about the past match they did with House of Black at the previous pay-per-view, it's like the Acclaimed are so solid in their gimmick. We missed out on a good month's build of them making fun of the House of Black, them coming out in all black. Like, I know House of Black is this like stoic, gothic, almost like this ancient primordial energy. They come in there, they don't say anything, they look fucking badass. I love House of Black. But could you imagine that goofy energy coming, you know what I'm saying? Just like challenging there.
And I love that you said that, Mo, because the thing that was circling in my mind as soon as the Acclaim was mentioned was that what needs to happen is they need to feud with the heel House of Black for the Trios title. And the way you get there is you have FTR and Mark Briscoe end up joining after the story is all over. And you have the House of Black feud with FTR and Mark Briscoe and turn heel and beat FTR and Mark Briscoe. FTR keeps the normal tag titles, and then you put Acclaimed into like a 6-month storyline with them. You know what I mean? And have the Acclaimed. Long-term storytelling, and have the Acclaimed eventually with Billy Gunn take those trios titles, because I do enjoy what House of Black has been doing with their matches. So I want to see House of Black matches for the next 6 months.
I do too. And I fantasy booked their entire run, which we could talk about on another podcast. But my thought was either they were going to drop those belts to CM Punk, FTR, or they're going to drop the belts to the Acclaimed, or they're going to drop the belts to Miro and some other surprise tag team. Those are the only 3 trios I would allow that to happen with.
Is House of Black, like, have they been promoted that they're on Collision?
They sure have.
Yeah, because on the main, the main thing I definitely saw, like Julia and I think, the whole crew, I think, was on there.
The whole crew's on
weren't
there.
they? Yeah.
It's so wild to me, like the promos for Collision, though. It's like these people that are all kind of problematic, but getting like pushed to the moon in these promos right now. Like, I'm like, damn, I haven't seen Miro in like a year and a half, and now he's like on every promo. It's the
problematic but good, baby.
Miro's great.
There you go.
You say problematic, but is that objectively? Because to me, besides CM Punk's a gray area, but it's like none of them did anything wrong.
I think he means like politicky, like backstage.
Like backstage politicky.
Yeah, not like SA problematic.
Because no,
Right.
yeah.
Because I was like, what are we
Nothing
talking about
bad.
here?
But like Thunder had her stuff. Andrade probably, yeah, he deserves.
He's one step away from Alberto Del Rio.
I think it's
yeah.
Yikes.
There you go.
There's your
Spicy.
Yikes.
God,
But yeah, it's
damn.
basically like it's like the hotheads, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, and I was talking to Eric about this. I hope that show just becomes the villain show. Like it becomes the heels are like in charge, and Punk turns heel immediately as like the leader of the heels. That would be cool.
Well,
Straight Edge Society.
Straight
I
Edge
want
Society.
I need it. I need it.
So him and Brody, when
they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
yeah.
then also too, they said Bryan Danielson might do some writing for Collison.
It's not might, he is. He's on,
and he's a classic shit heel.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is going to be.
He's one of the head writers for that show.
Yeah.
Nice. I hadn't heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be good.
Like so, just to branch off of that, in the press conference from the last pay-per-view, he said as much, and they asked him, and he was like, "Oh, I love working with Tony, and I can't wait to write with him more." So yeah, he's if he's not the head writer, he's one of the head writers on that show.
He's one of them. Yeah.
Then I got to watch that show now. I mean, it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
great.
I mean, I'm stoked for it. I was like, I thought that AEW's thing was perfect, just having 2-hour Dynamite, 1-hour Rampage. And I was like, like now there's another show, but all the promotion for it has got me hyped enough to like be like, okay, yeah, I'm stoked for it. And my big thing now is just, I always watch, for like 90% of the time, I'll watch Dynamite live. And then like Rampage, I'll usually DVR that. Got that baby set up on the DVR. I'm guessing Collision, I'll probably be doing the same since it's on a Saturday. But it's just like, have that shit ready to go. I get home, I pop that on. Fast forward through the commercials.
It also seems like the stakes are much higher on Collision than they are on Rampage. Like they're going to be like some main storylines on Collision.
Oh, for sure.
Rampage is always like the addendum to
Collision is going
Dynamite.
to be that 1A, 1B show with Dynamite. Like it might become the 1A show. It might.
I almost kind of feel like going back into like the late 90s, WWF had like, there was Raw and there was, now I can't remember if SmackDown and Sunday Night Heat coexisted.
We did.
But you remember, like, I almost feel like Rampage will be like Sunday Night Heat, and then you've got your two mains, which would be Dynamite and Collision.
They did, because they had Sunday Night Heat, and then after Sunday Night Heat died, they did Velocity for a little bit after that. So,
Yeah, because Sunday Night Heat sometimes was the lead-in to the pay-per-view.
The pay-per-view.
Right, yeah, true.
Yep. All right. I will say, so I guess it's my turn to go for the gimmick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best gimmick, much like Patrick's, it didn't start this year, but it has really blossomed this year. I think hands down, the best gimmick in wrestling by far to me is Seth freaking Rollins. He just, he was, the thing about his gimmick right now is that he was always far and above a top 3 talent in WWE since he's been there, right? And he's had some great character work through like the whole like Throne Smasher before Cody Rhodes, the Kingslayer with the Triple H thing. The Architect was cool when he won the Money in the Bank. That was cool. The guy who stabbed, all the guys from the Shield in the back. But I think he's just coming to his own so much with this character. And I honestly think it has a lot to do with his wife. If you notice, when Becky Lynch left the man character and she went heel, she started wearing all the crazy clothes. Mm-hmm. There was weeks where Seth would wear the same like sunglasses or the same shirt as her.
Totally.
Random shit. And I think it's a lot to do with Becky, and I think it's a lot, and I never give credit to Becky, but I think it's a lot to do with her. I do think she has a great mind for the business. And I think he's a student of the game. It reminds me a lot of Macho Man. Like his mannerisms, his ha 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 ha, like the cackling, and it's like Macho Man and the Joker put together. And I think for Seth, this is a great character, and I think he's finally found um, the gimmick, for lack of a better term, that he's going to lean into for the rest of his career. Shawn Michaels will always be HBK. Triple H will always be the Game. Stone Cold Steve Austin will always be the Texas Rattlesnake. Seth Rollins will always be Seth freaking Rollins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
nice.
I
definitely agree.
I was going to say, just bring back that old song and then we're set.
Yeah. I want the Burn It Down, the OG one.
Yeah, with those triplets.
I will also say Becky might have got him started on that outfit thing, but his outfits have been putting Becky's to shame lately.
Yes.
I don't know.
I will say absolutely. I don't know anything about Seth Rollins' character because I don't watch WWE, but I do know when his outfits show up on my feed, I lose my shit. And same thing with him. I follow the guy who curates all of his outfits. So he's got an actual designer on call, him and Becky. Same guy also did some of Jade's clothes too. So he knows where to put his money. And I'm just saying this. If we're talking about best gear of the year, goes to Seth Rollins when he came out with that Jeff Jarrett pink harness top at WrestleMania.
Oh yes,
my head exploded.
And very HBK too. HBK,
yeah,
sure,
totally.
absolutely.
We were debating on whether that or his not Crown Jewel Night of Champions gear was better because
the puff, the big puff.
They both were good. They both were really good.
The man was puffed up, baby.
I will say, Mo, even though you don't watch WWE, it's definitely worth your time to go to the YouTube channel and watch any segment Seth Rollins is in.
Oh, I do. Him and the Bloodline and some of the Dom stuff I'll watch.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Real quick about the outfits, there was a cool y'all probably saw it. There was this video, it was like a backstage video, I think from Mania, where Seth was getting ready to go out, like he's in Gorilla, getting all like, pumped up, and he's got his, getting his whole outfit going, and Becky like walks in and sees the outfit, and she's like, that's not fair. He's like, that's not fair.
It sure is not with you.
Shame.
Yeah.
To shame. All right, so there we go on the gimmicks, and now we're gonna get into the fighting portion of the show. I will actually. This might go with Aaron, but kind of against Aaron too. But let's do best storyline next. Okay. Mine was a portion of the Bloodline, and it was up until the Sammy match. That would have been my favorite. Just the lead up to that, I thought was great. The pop for Sammy in Canada, they did that right. He lost, and now in retrospect, I think it was a good idea that he lost. Sammy doesn't seem like he gives a shit about having the belt. But the lead up to it made you think that he was going to win, and like it gave you hope, which is what you need when you watch WWE. And then you realize you're watching WWE, and they will always rip the hope out of your heart and step on it. But yeah, that would be mine, and it would just be up until the Sammy stuff, and then the KO and Sammy getting back together stuff was great. But then once like Cody came around, I mean, I liked Cody's run up into Mania. I think me, Aaron, and Eric were watching it together, right? That was all three of us, and and we were all just like devastated afterwards when Cody lost.
And it was such a good match too.
It was a very good match.
If he'd won that, I
just thought it was. And looking back on that, I get why they did it. I mean, I understand. Cody's he's a great figurehead for that company. Eventually, when he wins the belt, he'll be a great champion. But it just seemed like they just did this long build up with Sammy, and it was drawn out, and it was good long-term storytelling. And then they were like, and now Cody's here, and Cody wins the belt because he's Cody, I guess. I don't know. Like that was kind of weird to me that they did all this like really good storytelling and then just inserted Cody looking like Homelander from The Boys.
Well, I'll piggyback because obviously my story of the year is Bloodline, far and away. Before I get into why it's my story of the year, I will say honorable mention. This is not a kayfabe wrestling story, but I hope that once Collision starts, maybe we can actually see it come to fruition. We have to get the Elite versus whoever CM Punk is in line with.
Yeah, for sure.
Punk and FTR.
Because outside of, I don't think it's going to be Punk and FTR off rip because we know Punk's probably going to turn heel, hopefully. So I think that they'll probably separate for a little bit. But if they circle back around to it, and if the Young Bucks are good Christian boys like they say they are, God teaches forgiveness. Forgive that man. Be the bigger man and make millions of dollars and push your company into the stratosphere because you were doing 1.2 million viewers at your height when CM Punk was there, and you can do it again if you just don't be a little bitch about it. But anyway,
very good, very good. Yes,
the Bloodline is far and away the best, and I will disagree with you a little bit, Patrick, because I think it's gotten even better after WrestleMania, and I didn't think it was because of how we all felt.
I think it's at its height right now.
Yes, the Jimmy and Jay stuff.
I disagree that it would be anything to do with Cody. I think it all has to do with Jimmy and Jay, and all that stuff has been great. They've been like Oscar-worthy performances. When he kicked him on SmackDown, it was on SmackDown when Jimmy kicked him?
It was the last pay-per-view. It was
the Night of Champions.
Was it Night of Champions? Oh, yeah. Because we were like, that was weird that they did that in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, I thought all that was perfect. And now, like, it's weird to me that like Cody was in there, and then once he lost, he's out of it. Like, he's not a part of that storyline anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the understanding is that like he's going to do the hard times gimmick and like get beat by a bunch of monsters after losing to the big man, and then come back after beating all the monsters and beat.
And it's understandable because like of anybody to break him off with, Brock makes sense. Like have him conquer Brock, have him win Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble again, however you want to do it. And then,
well, we got to wait till his arm heals, you know, his arm's fucked up.
That's
right. Even in the adamantium cast.
Yeah.
It's almost my second story of the year, besides Punk and the Elite, but the fucking cast, bro.
The cast was bad. So yeah, Bloodline. What do y'all got?
So I also had Bloodline. And I will say, so that's my only WWE thing on my list. And it's on there. I honestly was almost like, let me try to find something that's not WWE just to be that guy. But no, that was the first thing that came to mind. And also, I feel like it had to be on there for me because like that, I had gotten pretty checked out on WWE. And that was when that storyline was getting real juicy, that's what like got me back paying attention, you know. I still give a majority of my time to AEW, but that did at least get me to start, you know, seeing what's going on and watching the WWE pay-per-views again and whatnot. And yeah, it was just, I mean, like y'all said, just super, super good.
I will say though, before Mo goes there, just to add a button on the top of the Bloodline thing. I was texting Patrick about this, and you know, because I really started thinking about it, and I was like, yo, like I thought to myself, this is one of the best storylines I've ever seen in my lifetime in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I started to think like, what were my favorite storylines of all time in wrestling? And obviously, Austin McMahon is probably the greatest, right? And then Patrick brought up DDP and the NWO. That's another good one. You know,
that was great.
Sting and Hogan is another good one.
I was about to say Sting Hogan leading into Starrcade.
The more I thought about it, I mean, Punk and Cena too, right? But the more I thought about it, I was like, dude, this might be the best storyline I've ever seen in wrestling. The way it's been told.
It's got time.
Yes.
And that's like the biggest part of it. And it also has like all these different facets that we were talking about. Like it has the Sammy stuff at first where Sammy like joined the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know, honestly, I don't really know what was happening before Sammy because I wasn't watching. I was like Eric, I didn't watch it until the Sammy bloodline stuff kind of got me back into watching WWE. But I'm guessing it was just Roman being dominant for like 2 years as champ.
Yeah.
Right.
Sammy was pretty much in LA Knight territory before all this.
Yeah. He was fighting the jackass people and looking like the Unabomber. But yeah, you had that, and the Sammy stuff was all told like so beautifully how he was a part of the team and then he wasn't, and then he just turned into this like fucking white hot baby face that was like undeniable for a couple of months. And then you have the Cody stuff. Like I said, that's probably like my least favorite part of it. Even though the match was good and Cody can always do a great promo, it just felt like really like shoehorned into it.
The Sammy, I was gonna say the Sammy and Roman match. Honestly, I feel like was better than Roman.
Oh, than the
and,
Cody and Roman?
Cody. Yeah. I mean, they were both really good, but I think I may have liked the Sammy one better.
It was also like the audience for the Sammy one was so
like in Montreal,
it made you like care more, I guess. But yeah, there's just it's just so multifaceted and it's been going on for so long that you have to say it's like one of the best stories in wrestling. But yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and share my thoughts. I knew folks were going to pick the bloodline, so I was like, I got to go with something else.
Nice.
And obviously, as an AEW show, I have to think about what exists in that company that is like on par. First of all, let me be clear. There's nothing on par with the bloodline in AEW right now, in my personal opinion. I think the thing that comes closest to it is what's been going on with Kenny, Hangman, and the Young Bucks. They've been telling that story since 2019. They've been telling that story prior to AEW being a company. The whole point is that they're like, Hangman, we built this company for you to be a champion. And so, I love all of that stuff. It did let me down recently. Just with how they were building this kind of like Kenny doesn't know that the Young Bucks turned their back on him the night Hangman won the championship, and they were building this tension. And then out of nowhere, Kenny was like, oh, I been knew. I saw it. And I was like, that's fine. And I was so let down. It was a throwaway thing on BTE where it was something that I felt like should have played out on camera. And ever since then, it's been like hard to rope me back in, which is why I was like, they got to bring Ibushi in. They got to do something to like rope me back into this because it just doesn't make sense that Kenny isn't more upset that his best friends cost him the title. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm setting that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think that's the whole issue surrounding a lot of the elite stories is that they're crafted more so for those people that follow being the elite, that are those IWC fans. So a lot of that stuff doesn't make it onto TV. And if you don't search it out, you might not see those breadcrumbs. I will say before you continue, though, that fucking scene where Hangman came out and Kenny handed him the broom.
I know.
I was having an orgasmic Isaiah moment when I saw it.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So pause there because this is what I'm going to say. My favorite storyline of this year, Aaron just said it, has been this whole story with the Firm and Ethan Page, the Hardy Boys, and Brother Isaiah. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not nowhere near the Bloodline. It's not nowhere near the Elite storyline, what's happening with their internal strife with each other. But I will say that every time I've seen them on screen, it's captured my attention. All of them work well with each other. And I just feel like, especially with Isaiah, he's the youngest one on the team. He's the one who needs to benefit the most from this because the Hardys are on their last run. It's kind of Ethan Page's time now. You need to build for the future. I love the Brother Isaiah gimmick. I love the deletion match. I've never been let down by any of their segments this year. They are so fucking funny. They're entertaining, and I'm excited to see where this goes now that Ethan Page is kind of roped into the Hardy Boys and Brother Isaiah's faction or what have you. And they're doing good stuff now. I watched a clip last night of them all like dancing together, and I was like, "Woo, boy!" They're just a great. I think sometimes we look at the main event. We so often don't look at the mid card or even like the lower mid card of what stories are happening there. And I think they have been a solid story for AEW for the past 6 months. I think if you're going to look at a company, look at their mid card. What's happening there? Um, and Jeff's back too, so I feel like I'm gonna give my little trophy, my little award for best storyline to my favorite mid card faction, the Firm, and Ethan Page.
Hell yeah!
That's my where I'm going.
I'm stoked on that.
You just got me hyped up on that.
All about that. All about that. I'm changing mine real quick.
That was an impassioned speech right there. I was like, all right.
That's a sleeper. I think a lot of the dudes that are in that storyline are sleeper dudes to really be like top guys in that company. Like Big Bill's been fucking busting his ass lately. Yes. Like that triple threat with Swerve and Trent. He's been busting his ass lately. I've always loved Lee Moriarty. I think he's one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, in my opinion. Of course, Brother Isaiah, Ethan Page. I mean, this past week on Rampage, Ethan Page had a great match in that 6-man, and he was about to win until Jeff said, "You haven't extended my gift yet," and he pulls the wristbands down.
Oh yes, I was watching that the other night. Yeah, the wrist pulled it, and it was the Hardy thing. Yeah, that was sick.
They're doing very solid stuff right now. So I'm back.
Yes.
And
I'm hoping
too
that I hope Big Bill and Lee Moriarty do they come away with something outside of this. Really do. I agree with Aaron.
Yeah. All right. We got storylines, and they weren't all the bloodline.
I thought they were, to be honest. I thought they were. Shout out to Mo for switching it up.
Hell yeah.
All right.
All about it.
And then we're going to go to promo of the year. A little divisive.
This is gonna be a good one. I feel like we're all gonna have different ones.
Yeah.
I got something planned for this.
Yeah, maybe somebody else go first. Let's go. I know Eric's. Aaron, you want to start this one off?
I was gonna pass it to Mo, but I'll start it off.
Okay.
So this was actually a really hard one because, man, I'm going to tell you right now, there's been some really good promos this year. So what I did was I kind of put it into segment of the year, like what promo battle I thought was best. And I'm going to mention one that's not the one I chose that happened very recently in Adam Cole and MJF. I think that was superb.
That was solid. Yeah.
It was everything I wanted from both of those guys, but that's not the one I chose. And when thinking about the promos this year, man, one that I just couldn't get out of my head. And I'm going to sound like, a changed man when I say this, but
so
Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Before Night of Champions.
The one at the desk or whatever?
The woof woof bitch at
yes.
the end? Yeah.
Becky Lynch. Talk about a fucking silver tongue, man.
Yeah.
She pulled the whole, I didn't have to bark like a dog to get where I'm at shit.
Yeah.
All they had to do was show the clip off of YouTube of Vince McMahon making her bark, and I would have just been like, talk about a drop the mic moment. So I haven't felt that way about a line since I felt, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a rap battle, an actual rap battle on Monday Night Raw, or it might have been SmackDown, between the New Day and the Usos.
Oh yeah,
and this was right after.
I remember that.
This is right after the whole people's phones got hacked and the sex tape came out.
Yeah.
And Jey Uso said, "Let's not get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods." And I was like, I felt the same way because it was towing that fourth wall line. So
yeah.
Becky Lynch and Trish. I mean MJF. Everything he says is on point. I'm sure that one of you guys here will have an MJF moment in yours, but
yeah.
Becky Lynch is growing on me, man. I had to give her flowers with this one. I'm
Yeah.
that one.
That's a great promo. That was a very good promo. All right, Mo, what about you?
You know, I listen. I'm gonna reveal my hand right now. I was looking up on YouTube when the Hangman "The Medicine Isn't Working" promo happened, but I switched it. He did it in October, not the one in January. So that one's off the table. We're talking about MJF. I'm including MJF in this one, but I will say I'm picking the promo segment with Ricky Starks that happened earlier
Oh
this year.
I
yeah,
forgot that was this year. I
Be-
thought that was 2022.
Hold on. Oh, listen, I'll check right now.
I
I'm
think
pretty
it
sure it
was.
was.
I think it was
I
this
feel like it
year.
was this year.
I
That was
think
a
it
great.
was this year.
I could be wrong, but
I'm gonna look at it right. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
Damn, I forgot about that. I showed that promo to everybody when it
Damn.
happened.
Okay, it's this. It said December 7th, 2022. I'm still including it
let's count it. I say count it.
That
Yeah.
counts.
because
December, you're looking towards the new year.
you
so,
are,
yeah.
and I couldn't tell if it was during or before Brian Danielson MJF. But I'm saying all that to say that felt like outside of CM Punk, that was the first time I saw somebody actually hold their own against MJF, and it made sense and it felt natural. And
Yeah,
so I wanted to put some shine on Ricky Stark's name because he immediately went into a program with Jericho, and I felt like it was fine. But I saw the potential of him being a world champion after that promo segment with MJF. I was like, put the belt on him right now.
Yeah.
And they did the title match the next Dynamite, and he lost. And then it was kind of, he is where he's at now.
I think he's
Uh,
back on track with the Jay White stuff right now.
I think the
Yeah.
Jay White stuff is great. It took me a
Yeah.
minute because I didn't know who Jay White was, and Juice Robinson is Juice Robinson.
He's
But I
hard.
love Juice
He's hard.
Robinson now.
The man
And
got
so-
over quickly.
He sure did. He sure did. So that's why I'm gonna put a little respect on Ricky Stark's name, and say that promo is, by a technicality, my promo of the year so far.
Hell yeah.
Word. What you got, Eric? I know what you got.
Well, so when I was like, well, it's got to be like, MJF came to mind immediately. I was like, it's got to be one of these MJF things. Let me let me scope it out. And then, yeah, even, the other night with Adam Cole, I was like, could it be that? Maybe I'll choose that. I chose to go a little bit different though, for something that has yet to happen, but will be the best. Whenever CM Punk cuts that first promo, and hopefully it's him just like going off. Because I mean, we all know how CM Punk is, just going off. I want him to go off on fans. I want him to go off on everyone. I want him to be like y'all ain't fucking loyal to me. Like, fuck y'all. I want him to just go the fuck off and trash everybody, and it's gonna be awesome.
Can we just like say, instead of you saying that you chose the Brawl Out press conference then?
Actually, yes, that's my.
Might as well.
That was also last year.
Yeah.
Oh shit, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, September.
Well, that's my number one for last year, and my
Yeah,
number
there
one
you go.
for this year will be that
part
part two. The second coming, baby. Let's get there.
Beautiful. CM Punk when he comes back and ruins everybody. I have an MJF one, but now that I'm like thinking about it and hearing some, I have like a couple that I'll say. But my MJF one that he got like the most heat for was the drunk driving promo that
God.
I fucking loved. He got so much heat. People were like calling the police station.
Oh, right.
I forgot
Yes.
about
Telling them that some girl was like out there.
That's like some
that was,
WCW shit
Yeah,
when they
that
fucked
is-
everyone up backstage and the neighbors were like, people are dying.
Yeah. It felt like classic heat. Like just like I don't know. I was at home just like laughing when I read kind of like the fallout of that promo, and I thought it was so good. So I have that one for MJF. You could say the Adam Cole one was really good. Adam Cole, I thought was going to be kind of like that like very goody back and forth that he's been since he's kind of come back. He's been cutting good promos, he's been doing good stuff, but like he's been like this very like way too babyface kind of dude. And that promo back was not what I was expecting. He was like full on like Adam Cole baby from
that was tight. And I saw that video just this morning of it was like the side by side of that promo from the other night and the NXT one.
Mm-hmm.
We're like,
He was like,
where MJF did
yeah.
I have those for MJF. I have Brian Danielson's New Japan promo that he just cut in the desert. That little segment was
that was fucking
wonderful.
That was another one that came to mind for me as well.
He just keeps proving that he is like the best fucking wrestler in the world in every aspect. And then a weird one, and this one just comes to mind because I was so excited when it happened afterwards. Like I think me and Eric were talking and just like dying laughing. Was the Jericho Appreciation Society rapping in the ring?
That was like Tommy Wiseau the Room. It was so bad, it was good.
It was so good.
Wait, explain the segment. I don't remember.
It was Daddy Magic rapping about his nipples. And
Jake Hager off beat.
Jake Hager off beat talking about his hat.
Yes.
And then this was like 2 months ago, maybe. And,
on Rampage or Dynamite?
Dynamite, I think.
It was Dynamite.
And the Acclaimed came out, and and Billy Gunn held Daddy Magic, and they said that they were going to snip off his nipples and see if they were actually rock hard. And I was crying laughing at it.
That was good.
It was great. So yeah, give it up for Daddy Magic. Also coming out last week with the Seinfeld.
Dude, he's done it a few times now. David Putty from Seinfeld had the 8-ball jacket, and it is legit. Well, I sent you all the picture. It's the exact jacket. Yeah, so he's doing a thing.
So one AEW shout I want to give before we move on that we all forgot to mention. I will say Moxley's promos have been on point this year.
My God!
Where he was in the backstage with the rest of the BCC. That man sounds like Jean-Claude Van Damme in 1993, about to just fucking knock your head off your shoulders.
I was talking to Pat about that exact promo last night when I was saying. When I was revealing that I was going to say CM Punk's future promo, but I was like, I might roll with that backstage BCC promo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You could tell like he had that 6-month period of like, it didn't look like it was when all the Punk stuff happened. You could tell like he was just like, I need something new to do. Like I'm not really cutting great promos. This BCC stuff with Brian taking like the reins and being the leader and just letting Mox be Mox is like so good. He seems so pumped on it. And he's doing, like some of his best work right now.
That's another thing real quick from when we were talking about storylines and whatnot. With like the whole BCC and Elite whole thing, that when Brian came out and you weren't really sure what he was going to do, and like Kenny had his back turned, and then all of a sudden he starts like hulking up, he's going to run and do the knee to Kenny, and everyone was just losing their shit. That fucking that was so good. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get there because wrestler of the year, that category, we're getting there. So y'all thought I was impassioned about the firm. You just wait.
Well, let's do before we get to wrestler of the year, let's do match of the year. Which I don't think there will be a lot of differences between all of us, but yeah, let's go for it. Who wants to go first? Let's go for Aaron so he can get his.
Here we go.
So, as I'm going to try to do with most of these categories I've tried to do, I'll give some shout outs before I get to mine. Um, it was really, really hard for me not to put Rhea Ripley and Charlotte in this spot because to me, that's the greatest women's wrestling match I've ever seen personally. Like, I think that's the greatest women's wrestling match of all time. I do want to give a shout out. Me and my brother were talking about this, and this is off topic. I do want to give a shout out to Asuka because we were talking about this, and every match that Asuka's had at WrestleMania has been one of the best matches on the show, if not the best match. So
Totally.
I
Yeah.
think that gets overshadowed a lot. But Rhea and Charlotte, I really wanted to put up there. I couldn't. In my research, I did end up watching the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match, and I've never seen evil Kenny Omega, and oh my fucking god, shit out of this man! Like, so I can't wait for that rematch. It's going to be great.
Yes.
I couldn't choose that either. Another one honorable mention in my research. I watched Speedball Mike Bailey and Chris Sabin in Impact from 2 weeks ago, and that was like my second time ever seeing Mike Bailey wrestle. And like anybody who wears kick pads with no shoes on, you're good in my book. So that's another good one. But I think it's obvious. I think we're all probably going to choose this one. MJF and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, 60-minute Iron Man match. The greatest Iron Man match of all time.
Yeah.
There's nothing
I
else.
literally had the exact same. I had MJF and Danielson, and then honorable mention Rhea and Charlotte, and Kenny and Will.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's nothing to say about it. Just best Iron Man match of all time, hands down.
Honorable mention to Anarchy in the Arena.
So funny you say that because literally right here on my piece of paper, I had the Iron Man match number 1, honorable mention Anarchy in the Arena.
In your face, bruh.
I have to be. I'm gonna be that person again. I'm gonna switch it up. I just need, for context, for the folks listening at home. I went to Dynamite, Rampage, Revolution, all 3 shows. Wild week for me. I saw 4 wrestling shows in 5 days, so it was like my WrestleMania weekend.
Wild week for
In
your
the what's that?
wild week for your bank account.
Oh, listen, I'm
Ooh.
still paying it off. Still
I
paying it off.
know that's right. Yes. Yes,
But
yes.
I will say, in the arena when Bryan Danielson and MJF when that match was happening, most of that match, people were tired. It was an hour long. It's at the end of the show. People were drunk. They were full. They were sleepy. For a good, like, maybe 5 minutes of that match, there was a chant for the ice cream guy because people were just like, but you can't, I watched it back. You can't hear it on the pay-per-view, but it was that point where people were just like, we love these two, but we're just exhausted. So what I'm going to say is basically because, 1, I was there. 2, it was a title change. 3, it was earlier in the show, so I had my energy. But I'm giving my match of the year to the Elite versus House of Black at
Nice.
AEW Revolution.
I applaud that.
It was an incredible thing to witness. I think, again, because I was there in person, and to see a title change that I didn't anticipate coming was so special. The crowd, everyone, even the people who were chanting for the Elite, it was a split crowd. But when they got that pin and House of Black won, everybody stood up out of their seats and was just the whole time. And I still feel that way. There's only like maybe 5 or 10 matches that I go back and rewatch over and over again, and that is one of them because it was so special. And I think that Bryan Danielson, MJF, is on my list, probably number 2. And I also say number 3, which is AEW Revolution 2023 sweep because I was there. But
Nice.
the Hangman John Moxley match was insane to see
Great
in
match.
person.
Hell
like,
yeah.
and I knew that Hangman was going to win, but I didn't know how. And I had seen a death match the night before at a local show. So I think that seeing blood basically almost get splattered on your face really does like shift your perspective. And to see a death match in an arena the next night, it kind of felt like it was tampered a bit, but also it was just like you're seeing the people who fought in the death match the night before weren't Hangman and John Moxley, 2 people who worked well together, who are amazing workers themselves independently. And there were some spots in there that just looked really real, but still not my number one. So House of Black versus the Elite, the trios title change, my match of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Hangman and Moxley match might be my favorite garbage match of the year for sure. That might be my favorite garbage match of the year.
Are you not a fan of like gimmicky matches like that?
No. I like hardcore matches, but that might be my favorite hardcore match of the year.
Oh yeah.
So my thing is like, I am not a big fan of matches that have more than 4 people that are tornado style. You got to be really good. It has to be really good for me to like it at that point. But
there was a really good one this year. It was called Anarchy in the Arena.
Yes.
I have to also say honorable mention Mercedes and Kyrie. That match was really good.
That was awesome.
That
Me
was
and
like
you stayed up till what, 2 or something?
2
to
and it
watch
was right
that?
after the Sammy pay-per-view. So
Yeah.
it was like you got to see just like everybody losing their mind and then go to complete silence for New Japan.
Props to Pat for running out and get me a Mountain Dew that night.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just cool to see like right before that you had Saraya do like her kind of premiere, and it maybe wasn't the best match that you wanted out of her. So that got me worried for Mercedes because there was so much like hype around it, and then she just like delivered in such a big way.
I forgot that show was right after the AEW pay-per-view. That's why I still haven't gone back and watched it, because I was so
it was right after WWE. It was right after
the Sammy Roman.
Yeah. So that's one that I didn't watch in my research for today. I should have.
It's a great match. I mean, Kyrie's always really good, but Mercedes definitely like pulled out some shit that she didn't do in WWE. That was really cool to see.
Kyrie, aka the better version of Rio.
Oh, okay.
I think you're just like saying all Asian people, because like that they're nothing alike. They're very different wrestlers.
They're both 3 foot tall, 70 pounds soaking wet. Come on.
Yeah, that's like every Japanese woman in Japan.
Okay, well, I don't think we should make those generalities.
All right, let's moving on.
Here we go, folks. Here we go.
Whoops.
Get that
roll that back.
Whoopsies. All right,
we're
gonna
button ready.
All right, now let's get to the highly disputed wrestler of the year. I think it's easy from this podcast to see that my wrestler of the year is MJF, hands down. And I know that me and Aaron disagree about this, and we're going to get into why we disagree about this.
We should let Mo and Eric go first.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, we'll wrap it around and then let y'all.
Right, it'll come back around.
Yeah, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll get some more water. Mo, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna make this long and short. My wrestler of the year will forever always be Bryan Danielson. I think that we all just said his 60-minute match with MJF was spectacular. He also then went on to have a 5-star match in Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. He is on his way to wrestle one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers, if not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Okada, at Forbidden Door. And it is rumored that he's going to bring his buddy Nigel McGuinness out of retirement and wrestle him at Wembley.
That would be amazing.
I'm telling you, this man, he's talking about he don't want to hold a world championship. I think we might need to get that world championship onto Bryan Danielson, because this run that he is on this year, if it goes the way we think it is, they're also building Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson number 2 or 3 at this point. So all I'm saying is he's on a run right now this year that is out of this world. I think the only thing that I would do that would be a demerit against him, I think that promo he cut against Okada in the desert was beautiful. I don't personally think, out of the people I know y'all are going to choose, I don't think he's a stellar promo against them. I think he's a good promo. I think hearing him on commentary has been really fun because we are seeing a little bit of that dynamic with him and his character finally. I would love to see Planet's champion Brian Danielson come back. But all that to say, my wrestler of the year, the wrestler in my heart, mind, and soul, goes to the GOAT, the literal GOAT. Who gets my GOAT goating? Brian Danielson.
Very nice. Very
Running
nice.
for
Mo on these
president.
goddamn speeches right now is
Yes,
getting
yes.
me
Yo,
fired
Let me
up.
tell you.
I like
And
that. I like that as a dark horse. I like that as a dark
I
horse.
also like you just have to understand too. I'm a BCC for life. People have their
Hell yeah.
critiques against Moxley, against Yuta. Claudio can get lost in the shuffle sometimes, but at the end of the day, that is my faction. That's my team. I'm riding and I am dying for them.
Mo, like, regardless of your bias, I do like that as a dark horse because I think that you make some really good points. But what it comes down to for Brian is his health. I think you have a good point, and I think that if he is feeling up to it, he can have a Brock Lesnar type reign with that belt where he's an attraction because he's becoming that attraction. If you're fighting Okada and Nigel McGuinness matches like that, those are attraction matches, and that's perfect for him. I think if he wants to take extra dates and hold that championship, you have a good point. He could do that, and I think that maybe by the end of this year, there could be an argument for Brian as Wrestler of the Year if he does that, because there is an argument for quality over quantity, which is what we're going to get to when me and Patrick argue. But there is an argument for that if you're doing it the way that Brian is doing it. So I like that.
And I think that would be better for him too, as like, you know, he got the concussion scare. He was out for a while. We thought he was already retired. If he does the Brock route where he's like, he's champion, but we don't see him that much, he's taking it a little bit easy. Not the Roman Reigns route, more the Brock route, like a part-time champion. I'm okay with that if it'll extend his health and extend
he's
his
doing
livelihood
that now
and
because
his
he's on
business.
commentary he's doing that now because he's on commentary doing all the matches.
Start
so.
now. Start it now so we can get that belt on him by my birthday, by October.
There you go.
Let's
Yes,
do
yes.
that.
Well, wasn't the thing though also like he just doesn't want the belt? Like he
says
doesn't
that,
wanna
but he
be-
needs to shush.
Yeah. That's like Britt too. Britt's like, yeah, I don't really want to be champion again because it's like it's a lot of, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. But I was like, you're gonna be champion again.
Right.
You have to.
At least
Britt
TBS.
has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Aaron. Or wait,
am I tossing it to Eric?
Eric does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I yesterday I was going through it and I was like just super 50-50 between MJF and Bryan Danielson. And I was like, let me sleep on it. And I woke up and I was just, just like going, and my heart told me what to choose. And what I chose was our boy, Mr. Danielson.
Woo!
Yes.
We won.
That's
wild. We got him.
I did. It was a lot of that was honestly the one that I had to think on the hardest. And it's honestly, it's very 50-50 because obviously like MJF has been killing it and he's had, just like with wrestling and promos and everything, like, he's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I just like, and Brian, he's done the same, he's had, great promos and great matches, obviously. So I don't know. Yeah, it was tough, but I went with Brian. I agree. Championship run would be fucking awesome. It could be what, something similar to what we could have seen with Punk when they wanted to give him the title, which probably won't happen anymore now because that just seems to be bad luck for him. Every time he wins the title, he gets some sort of, bad injury in that match.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I don't need to go on too much about it because Mo got, you got it all in there. So
Well, just to give you space, Eric, if there is anything, I didn't say, definitely share it because
I mean, no, you had the passionate speech. So, but well, the last thing I will say, just as BCC in general, yeah, I don't know. I feel like every day I'm loving like that faction more and more, and they're totally. It's just like, I mean, it's like the fucking like NWO, like when they first came about, and how fucking awesome the NWO was for like a good while until they added too many people. But so hopefully BCC learns from that mistake. But yeah, nah, I'm all about it.
Word. Yeah. And we also have to remember that MJF did a Show Tunes promo
Very
this
true.
year.
Very
Long
true.
Island, baby, Long Island.
Where he got a key to the city.
Sure
And then the mayor got booed
Oh no,
like
I
a
mean,
motherfucker.
like I said, all of that stuff, golden, and loved it. And it was a tough choice, but yeah, I ended up going with Brian.
Yeah. All right,
So
Aaron.
Pat, are we? Oh, you're letting Aaron go first.
So before I go, let's just make sure everybody watching this or listening to this podcast, if you haven't before, we all know Patrick is a Long Island shill, and it's okay. That's fine. But I'm going to do like I did on every other topic, and I'm going to give some people shout outs. So I wanted to choose Rhea Ripley. But much like I was saying with Mo, quality over quantity works, but sometimes you need some quantity. And I think for her, the issue with her has been not the level of competition, but the level of story that has been within that women's championship. We saw it recently with her squashing Natalia. It's like Natalia's great and all, but come on now.
Yeah.
But I love what Rhea's been doing, and I think that she is really kind of claim her stake to that Charlotte spot right now. Sami Zayn is another guy who, I think he's the people's champion of wrestling in general right now. But I couldn't choose him. MJF is a guy who is, if I was playing WWE 2K23, and which now will be AEW Fight Forever, spoiler alert, and I was making a wrestler, I would make that person as a wrestler and take them through the career mode. Like, he is the quintessential professional wrestler for what I love to see in professional wrestling, which I think will speak volumes about why he is not my wrestler of the year. Because biased-wise, I want to choose MJF. Personally, he is probably my favorite performer to watch right now, besides Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens has been my favorite wrestler for the last 6 years. But MJF is my favorite wrestler to watch right now. But he's not the wrestler of the year to me. And the wrestler of the year to me is Cody Rhodes. And I will say this. The reason why Cody Rhodes is my wrestler of the year over MJF, it goes back to the quality over quantity thing. MJF has had the best match of the year, bar none in my opinion, but Cody has consistently performed in every match he's had, and it's been a banger. And every promo he's had has been a banger. And not only that, he's done it probably 5 times more than MJF. I looked it up before we started potting. I looked it up, and this is per, what's the website? This is per cage match, okay? This year, MJF has had, can you guys guess how many matches MJF has had this year?
He doesn't have many, so it's probably like 3 or 4.
Including house shows, he's had 5.
I was going to say 4 or 5, yeah.
Guess how many matches Cody Rhodes has had, including house shows this year?
Probably like 20.
Yeah.
How about you double that, Eric? Cody Rhodes has had 42 matches this year.
Damn.
Including house shows. He's been on a house show loop with Finn Balor and LA Knight lately, which makes me think LA Knight's probably going to get the rocket strap soon, which is cool. But to me, hands down, Cody Rhodes is the wrestler of the year. And I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan and never have been. But what he's done this year his stuff in AEW was great too. Like, I liked his Nick Aldis stuff early. I missed a lot of that really early TNT Championship stuff with Brody Lee with the dog collar stuff. I missed a lot of that, but I heard it was really good. But what he's doing now is, to me, all time.
Well, this is kind of like, and we brought it up. We talked about this. Me and Aaron got into an impassioned fight one night for a long time. I think you missing out on Cody in AEW is why this like means more to you, because to me it's kind of a rehash of everything he did in AEW. Like, it's the same promos with insert different person kind of. When he was starting with the Roman Reigns stuff, it was the my dad did this to finish the story stuff, and it's like that's all he did in AEW. So it just kind of like felt like the same thing over and over again with like the less the less cool looking cock pieces
He's
on his pants. But
the gimmick to another territory and just
it's the same gimmick, and then like it is kind of just the hard time stuff that he's doing right now. The cast match was stupid as hell.
That was dumb.
Like Brock is probably what I'm liking more in this feud than Cody, with his Undertaker duster, looking like a goth cowboy, and
Well, to
just
Aaron's
like
point, though, I mean, well, at least to your point too, Pat, is like
goddamn
Cody,
right there. That's a good old boy.
Cody's gimmick didn't work in AEW. So, and that's why he's doing it now, and people suspected that it was more for a WWE audience.
Yes.
So wouldn't you is that a demerit against him for doing it again and realizing that it works, or is that a positive for him to be like?
It's a positive. I think it's harder to be a white meat babyface at that level. I think being a heel is easier, and that's why MJF is naturally a heel. Cody is kind of a tweener naturally, but I think it's harder to be a hot babyface. Cody and Sami Zayn are the two hottest babyfaces in wrestling, and I think that's harder to do than to be a heel.
That's the other thing. I feel like if Sammy stuff didn't happen, maybe I'd give more to Cody in WWE, but Sammy like overshadowed Cody to me as far as like white hot babyface.
That's fair.
Cody just seems like Cody's good at what he's doing, but it is somewhat the WWE thing that they love to do, where they're like, "This is our new toy. Let me shove him down your throat," and it's got a little bit of that for me. He's been wrestling a lot, but it's like whatever. He wrestled like every Raw that he was on, and I was like, these are fine matches that Cody's definitely going to win. He beat somebody who did he beat in dress shoes?
Was it Chad Gable? I can't remember.
It was one of them, and I was just like, all right, if that counts as a match, whatever. And we talked about
he did a springboard stunner in loafers. That's impressive.
Were they his fancy? What's the like red bottom? What are those things called with the red soles on them?
Louboutins.
Louis Vuittons, yeah.
His wife is black.
We also
baby. And he will remind you every chance he can get.
Yeah, he will.
This man ended racism.
Cody Luther King Jr. Love him.
The way Cody's dressing, you think he's gonna bring racism back lately? I don't know, but blonde hair, blue eyes, with a American flag on his dick, going out there to Cody Cutter people, but. We had we kind of talked about this, but you were going off of like how many matches has he had, and it's like he's had a bunch of matches, but like so has Seth. Like Seth arguably had the more fun to watch better matches.
It's hard not to add Seth to this conversation as well, but I will say this,
and Seth got the belt, baby.
I will say this about the Cody matches, right? MJF's at 5. Cody's at 42. Now, that in itself in a vacuum does not mean that Cody is wrestler of the year. The reason I give it to Cody is because every match he's had on TV has been fucking great. So it's like
every match that MJF's had has been
only had
historic. He doesn't have to have all these matches.
He doesn't, and that's my point. He doesn't, and I think there's after hearing Moretta and Eric, I think there's more of a case for Brian in my opinion.
There probably is more of a case for Brian, but I am a Long Island shill.
And I love him, Jeff, and he's my number 2. But I'll say, man, like having this conversation makes me think this is really interesting. I'm excited to see how the year pans out because, it's making me think about Brian. He could be right there, and Seth too. We got to see how this.
He is having like a historic run right now. Like he's finally living up to like the American Dragon moniker that like. I mean, he's been good all along, but being the leader of the BCC, I think, has taken like his promo stuff and his character stuff up to the level that his matches were on.
Also, I want to see the day where a woman wins Wrestler of the Year outright, and I think that Rhea Ripley has the potential to do that. And I hope that her run continues to I think the Judgment Day stuff has elevated her to a China-like level, which is great. But the issue is the same issue that it was with China, where it's like, and it sucks because there is competition on that roster, but it's like the way that they book them is just so shitty.
Well, that's the thing. You're never gonna get a woman being like the outright wrestler of the year until you get the company to back them like they do the men. Like, yeah, Rhea and Charlotte had like one of the best matches of the year so far, and the storyline leading up to it was like 2 weeks long or whatever.
Yeah,
like it's like
Yeah.
you're not giving them the time. Whereas like Dom is getting more of a fucking storyline than Rhea Ripley is. Rhea just like comes out, Dom says "mommy," and then Rhea just like stands behind him.
Arguably, they're using her to help get him heat and pushing Dom more, arguably, which is like kind of ass backwards.
Yeah,
you know, but.
So.
And I will to give a positive to WWE. I will say this: that they, at the very least, I think you have multiple women right now who can be a contender for Wrestler of the Year or just like Match of the Year. I feel like AEW is so far and away from entering that conversation right now with the women's division.
I disagree. I think
prove to me.
So here's my thing. I do think that they're far and away, but I think that they're not as far as you think because they have the talent to do it. And I think that like perfect example is the Outcast, which is a terrible name for a group. But the Outcast, they've grown on me, and Toni Storm as a heel is awesome. Ruby Soho is awesome. Willow Nightingale is awesome. Ty Valkyrie, who's probably going to go heel soon, is awesome. Anna Jay is awesome.
I mean, they all are. They all are.
Awesome. They are. Right. They are literally all they are. All they need is to put more resources into that division. They have.
That's all I'm saying.
Talent.
That's all I'm saying.
They have talent.
And I think with Jade not having the TNT belt, that opens her up to actually going into the main women's roster and being a top heel there. Because Jade has just been in that TNT belt division for so long, which is just like the feeder belt, basically, like feed TBS, somebody to. Yeah, but TBS. Oh, sorry.
But I'm saying that like they have the talent, they just don't put the energy into it. I mean, you could say the same about WWE, but at the same time, we all saw that Rhea Charlotte match. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the storyline was doo-doo.
They give them time for sure. Right.
We saw Bianca and Asuka. It was fine, but it was.
I don't even think there was a storyline to that. I think they were just like, here you go, they're wrestling.
Yeah, it was like mist in your face. That's the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the incredible match, and I feel like of the matches I've seen out of the women in AEW, they're good. I hope, and this is my hope, for the next 6 months, I hope we see a change, and especially with Chris Statlander back and Toni Storm doing incredible heel work with the AEW Women's Championship. I hope that we can say a different or have a different narrative at the end of the year with the AEW Women's division, now that we got new champs.
I think totally. Like Patrick said, Jade is a good cog in the wheel. Because we saw Toni Storm in that press conference say, "Tony, feed me Jade." So I don't know if she's fully ready yet, but I want to see them give her the ball and see if she can run with it as a face to go against a top level wrestler in a program to learn. You know,
I think Jade's definitely like run with it because I don't think you were watching when Jade started. Jade was like so green that her matches were like really botchy, and like she got brought in as like Shaq's person or whatever.
Right.
Wasn't that like the original thing?
And Cody was involved in that too, wasn't
it? It was supposed to be Cody and Brandy versus Shaq and Jade, and then Brandy got pregnant.
That's right.
Right.
And they put Red Velvet in.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and then Red Velvet got her ass beat for 6 months.
Shout out to Red Velvet though. I love Red Velvet.
I love Red Velvet too.
Where is Red Velvet? Is she injured, or are they just not booking her on TV?
Is she on Ring of Honor right now? I think maybe.
No.
Also, speaking of Ring of Honor, we got to give a shout out to Athena too, who's having an
amazing. Oh, come on!
Coming into her own as a badass heel. She could be part of the Blackpool Combat Club, and I would love that. She would be
They
perfect.
need to get her out of Ring of Honor and put her back on TV because she was doing incredible work right now. No shade to Ring of Honor, but like that would bring people to watch Dynamite or Collision, whatever you want to put her.
They got Collision now. They got room. They got room.
They got room. They got room.
But going back to, I do think Jade has like done phenomenal work for herself over time. She's become like a match that I want to see every time.
Totally. She
really
grew on me a ton. Like, cause at first, like you were saying, I was like, I don't care, and it was like, I don't know. I was like not into the fact that she, with the undefeated streak and whatnot. But then, at some point, I don't know. Yeah. She just like, she got better and her matches like started being awesome. And same deal. It would be like, a pay-per-view match with Jade or something that I'd be like super stoked for it.
Yeah. So cool. Well, not that much fighting. We didn't get as heated as we thought we would. I think y'all being here.
I do have one thing to say that sprung to mind when y'all are talking about like number of matches, like, like Cody had all these matches. MJF had like, 4 or 5 matches. Something I've kind of thought about ever since AEW first came about, because, they have the less demanding schedule. And I'm like, that is why, in my opinion, an AEW match is so much better than a WWE match, because they have, obviously some of them, do stuff in other companies and whatnot, but like, I just feel like the AEW wrestlers are less worn out, like they have more energy.
There's a double-edged sword to that, though. I think there's a double-edged sword to that. I think depending on the wrestler, it's a case-by-case basis, because I think for people that are green, they need those reps to have more matches.
That's true. That's true.
But if you're talking about a Bryan or an MJF, they can have one match every 2 months and it's going to be a banger. You know what I mean? The Young Bucks have one match, but people like Jade Cargill need to be wrestling every single night. People like who's another person? I don't know.
And I think they are getting good reps. It's just like not on prime TV. So when you do see it, it's it does mean more, like what Eric is saying. But they have Dark and Elevation, which all the wrestlers are getting. They're done.
It's done.
Now it's Rampage and ROH. Rampage and ROH.
Oh well, you got ROH. A lot of them are still doing PWG. A lot of them are still doing a lot of the indie companies. So they're getting reps off of that. And it's just cool to see. Like I was saying, seeing like the Beast, because you saw like Mox on New Japan and you saw Kenny on New Japan, but to see the whole BCC on New Japan is so cool. Like just to see, like it's like those are my boys and they're in the other company. Yeah. It does feel like an NWOE like takeover kind of thing where they just show up and they're like, "Fuck you wrestlers," and we're gonna mess them up.
Forbidden Door has the potential to be the show of the year. You got Okada and Bryan. You got GTS versus GTS rumor with Kenta and Punk. You got Ospreay and Omega.
Ospreay and Omega too.
That has the potential to be show of the year. My only issue with that is that besides Omega and Ospreay, you don't really have a whole lot of time to build up stories. We get the story between Kenta and Punk. We get that. You stole my finisher. That's fine. And we want Bryan at the dream match, which is like, we get that. But wrestling-wise, in-ring-wise, it has a chance to be the best show of the year. So
I think for a lot of this, and since New Japan really isn't a story company, they don't do like long stories. I don't think it's usually
they do.
It's mostly like build-ups in like the press conference before or something. Like Eddie Kingston goes over a line and he's just like, "I'm gonna fuck this dude up." He's in the G1 this year, which is cool.
Good for him.
So I don't think you need it because it is such a spectacle. Like it is like we get to see Okada fight somebody. Last year it was kind of a letdown because Okada, they were in like it was like a 4-way match or something.
Yeah, and Adam Cole got hurt in that one.
And that was the Adam Cole got hurt match. So this year I think you are taking like the biggest stars and we're gonna see something really cool. Have they done? Have they announced a Tanahashi match yet?
No,
No.
which is what people were talking about as far as just like why, if not CM Punk and Kenta, it should be CM Punk and Tanahashi because he called him out last year before he got hurt. And so they were
Oh,
like,
okay.
naturally, they should go back to that. But I don't think they are.
It
I don't
has to
think
be
it's gonna
Kenta.
happen.
It has to be Kenta. I'd rather see Kenta and Punk than Tanahashi and Punk. There's more of a story
I
there.
agree.
And Kenta's character right now is fucking hilarious. So I think it'll be good.
I will say though, to
Mhm.
talk about that match a little bit more, I feel like it's a case of like one of those things where it's like better late than never, but it is like 6 years too late, right? Like Kenta pre Hideo Itami was the Kenta we wanted to see go against CM Punk, and I think Kenta's been kind of, and Punk and Kenta both have been very like injury riddled over the past couple years, and they wrestle a safer style now, which makes me kind of trepidatious about this match. But we'll see how Punk looks on Collision. We'll see how he looks. We'll see how he looks. You know, just don't do any buckshot lariats. You know?
No,
Yeah.
please, well, because Hangman will come out and whip that ass in a shoot, and then we don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I will say though, I know we're running late, but I feel remiss that we haven't mentioned this person in any of our categories. I hate to agree with Brian Alvarez on anything, but this Orange Cassidy International Championship title run, he said something that kind of blew my mind yesterday. He was like, "This is up there with the John Cena United States Championship run," which
Post wrestling,
I,
same thing. Post wrestling
which I
title run.
I love that. I was still watching WWE when John Cena was doing the United States Championship run. I was there with Jess when Kevin Owens debuted to wrestle him when he was still NXT champion. And so for him to have said that compared to OC, I'm just like, let's give our man his flowers right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he falls in that category. He'll probably gonna drop that title soon to who we do not know.
Swerve.
But
Swerve.
that would be great, honestly.
When me and Pat were talking about this off pod, and I had Orange originally in my top 5 of the year, and I have tremendous respect for Meltzer and Alvarez, even though Meltzer is a fucking weirdo with his star ratings and Alvarez is kind of a shill. I have tremendous respect to Post Wrestling, John and Wei Ting, and Wei said that he thinks this is the best, run right now, championship run. But I respectfully disagree in the sense that I think it's gotten stale, and I think it's time to get that fucking belt off Orange Cassidy. I love Orange Cassidy so much, but it's time to get the belt off of him.
I think I still disagree with the. I mean, I don't. He made
way
that
they're
whole belt.
building
That
it.
belt like didn't mean anything until
Well,
Orange
Pat,
got it.
You made a good point, and you made a good point when we were talking, and you said that every time he's wrestled, it's been believable that he could lose because of the story they've been telling that he's been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I would counter that and say that to that same point, I think that it's not believable that he's going to lose because we've seen the way that they booked him and he wins every time. You know what I mean? Like, and he starts the show every time and he wins every time.
Yeah, it's the Ric Flair method. Rick didn't lose either. Rick looked like he was going to lose.
There's not enough story building verbally. There's not enough.
He's Orange Cassidy.
True, but his opponents. Like, why isn't Swerve talking about Orange Cassidy more? You know, why didn't Double J cut a promo on Orange Cassidy before they fought? Why didn't Buddy Matthews cut a promo on Orange Cassidy before they fought?
And you know what? I don't put that at the wrestlers. I put that on TK.
That's my point.
Because that's been issue. That's been something I've seen talked about online a lot. Is that AEW great wrestling? Where are the stories?
Yeah.
You know. And I think that that's why I was like, I can't put that in the demerit column for OC because I think he would want to have some story building too. Now, granted, I don't think we're going to see him lose the belt until probably either Forbidden Door or Wembley. Because I think Wembley putting the international championship on someone in international waters is great.
Zack
true.
You said who?
Zack Sabre Jr. God damn it.
D-Kid, and they're best friends IRL. So that might happen. They could do that. I think it'd be a great idea to put on Zack Sabre Jr. You dickhead.
There you go. There you go.
I think a thing also with the lack of storyline and whatnot for like y'all are saying, I think a lot of that comes down to just like time factor with stuff with the shows where it's like they want to squeeze in a lot of matches and have them be like long enough to be these like awesome matches. Cause like you even see like, there'll be like a rampage and there'll be, this match that you might not think is going to be anything, but then it's like this like insanely good
It's a
match.
banger. It's a fucking banger. You're like,
Yeah.
like
So I
this
think a lot of
was-
that is, the time factor. Which it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd almost like, I mean, a great build to something is awesome and it makes the match that much more better. But also at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's like, I don't need as much storyline as long as like the match is awesome. But having said that, I do love a good storyline and I love a good build up to a match to give it the big fight feel, Yeah. But
as long as what, and I do like the idea of taking it off him at Wembley. As long as we get that big fight feel at Wembley,
Yeah.
And I will say, if Swerve doesn't take it from him, Big Bill.
Oh, Big Bill. I mean, Big Bill's been looking pretty freaking cool in there.
Then you can bring in a certified G and a bona fide.
Please don't.
I don't know if we need him. I don't know if we need to see that man again.
All right. Well, it's been great potting with y'all.
I was trolling.
Aaron's gonna put links on the YouTube page to Enzo's rap videos. And be like, this is the real story that we all need, everybody.
Quick change of subject. I got a shout out I gotta give to one of my boys, Mr. Darby Allen. I feel just as far as he gets up there for me for like, wrestler of the year. I mean, obviously he's not up in a number one spot, but I feel like, I just love that dude, but also I feel like he's legit now getting to a spot where it's like after that 4-way at the last pay-per-view where it's like he can be in the running for like, world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and I think watching that, it would have probably been better to just do Darby versus MJF than the whole four pillars, because Darby definitely shone way brighter than Sammy and Jungle Boy in that match.
He was the number one showing in that match for sure. I mean, I loved that match, and there was a lot of like awesome stuff that involved the four of them. But yeah, would love to see more of singles Darby on MJF or whoever. I don't know. Maybe after Wednesday, Adam Cole will be the champion. We don't know.
I can't wait to see what they do with the Adam Cole stuff and like how they're gonna do this match. Like what fuckery is about to happen to keep this going for a long time.
It's a non-title match, though. It's a non-title match.
No, it's a title match.
It's a title qualifier. So if he wins, he gets a title match against MJF after beating him. He has to beat him to get a title shot.
Okay, I still think there will be some fuckery that doesn't allow Adam Cole to win the match, but
no, he's going to win it because this is the title qualifier, so he can fight him.
No, I know, but I still think it's like too early to give Adam Cole the win. So I feel like MJF's just going to do an MJF kind of swerve at the end, and that'll like start this feud, hopefully going for a very long time.
Yeah,
I just want it to be like an actual match. Like I want it to give them like, at least like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
To go. I don't want it to be the kind of thing where it's like, oh man, we're about to like, this match is about to, the main event's about to happen. You look at your watch and there's like 5 minutes left.
Yeah. And you're like, God damn it.
I will say this too. A lot of people are talking about how they don't feel like there's any real build to Forbidden Door. I'm just very curious, is MJF going to be on Forbidden Door? And if so, why not use this time instead of building with Adam Cole to something that may not happen? at Forbidden Door, why not build it with somebody else? I'm just really curious. I don't know what they're gonna do with him, if he's even gonna be on Forbidden Door. But I'm just like, that's your world champion. You kind of want him to be on the card. But why are we doing this Adam Cole thing right now?
It's like I kind of feel like I get a sense that he's not gonna be there.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, he said in the press conference, he was like, I hope I don't have to fucking fight on Forbidden Door. The fuck?
Well, maybe that can be a whole part of it where he comes out and he's just like, I'm not going to be on that fucking pay-per-view, and trashes on something or somebody in some way, shape, or form.
Who wants to roll around in John Moxley's blood?
I was going to mention there were so many people texting me that were like, why didn't MJF go last? And then MJF with the fucking, I'm not going to roll around in Moxley's blood. Like the most perfect answer to that.
Well, they did that right too, having Anarchy in the Arena last, because it's such a isn't the whole thing of that is it's like unsanctioned, like AEW is no longer involved. This is just, you know what I mean?
Wait, I thought
their
the
whole
Adam
thing.
Cole Jericho one was unsanctioned.
Oh, you might be right. That might have been the unsanctioned
that was the one. That was
that one needed to be sanctioned.
Or were they both unsanctioned though?
We don't talk about Adam Cole versus Jericho. We don't talk about
we should never again. And they sure didn't, because Adam Cole was
they
moved
the fuck on.
I did defend that match a little bit. I don't think it was as horrible as other people made it out to be, but it was a bummer that it wasn't, what it could have been.
I still stick by, I don't think the match is like that bad. I just think with the Sabu stuff in it, Sabu.
Oh gosh,
Sabu.
Yeah, that was weird. That was just like,
it was
why
just
did
so
that happen?
weird. Yeah,
Jericho's been putting people in purgatory.
Yeah.
Mo talked about it earlier.
Agree.
Mo talked about it with Ricky Starks. He's been putting people in purgatory this year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Jericho's got left. I hope he has something big. I hope if Sting doesn't do a Darby finish, I would like it to be like Jericho and Sting. That would be cool.
I'm just hyped to see him on Wednesday. I'm just hyped.
Yeah, Stinger's going to be there.
Sting on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sting's there. He's in a tag match.
Who are they fighting?
It's I think
y'all want to run down the card real quick? Like, do you want to pull
it a 3-on-3? I can't remember now.
I think it's all on AEW's Instagram.
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day. Yeah,
because I want to get hyped with y'all. I can't watch it or be there, but
so I think this is the one. Am I right?
So it's MJF and Adam Cole in a championship qualifier match.
Okay.
It's Tony Storm versus Sky Blue for the title.
Right.
Yeah, she won on Rampage the other night. That was a good match. That was a good match too.
It's Orange, Sting, Darby, and Keith Lee versus the Mogul Embassy.
That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
And then it's the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club.
Damn.
The Hung Bucks.
Hung Bucks.
Now, last time me and Pat were in DC for a Dynamite, we saw Sting dive off the stage through a table. Will we get something similar? Sting, like he has like a thing with DC. He likes, like, I think he even mentioned it. Like, he's like, that's one of his like favorite spots to wrestle. Even though we're gonna, we're gonna be in the same arena where the infamous Starrcade '97 happened.
So here we go, baby.
And
everybody get jacked off for Wednesday.
I love Starrcade '97, by the way.
I do. Rampage the same night too, right? Yeah. Like, it's gonna do our Rampage. Yeah. They might do Ring of Honor. They might shoot Ring of Honor right before that too.
I think I did see that. Like, the show starts at 7, so I'm pretty sure. So there's an hour of something beforehand.
The one thing that we're gonna have to get, unfortunately, is a Jake Hager match. But at least Wardlow's in it.
What's the Jake Hager match?
There's a Wardlow versus Hager for the title.
On Rampage or Dynamite?
Dynamite.
Now, see, that could be another women's match. That could be a Chris Statlander match, in my opinion.
True.
But
is there even? Oh yeah, it's Tony versus Sky Blue. That'll be good. Yeah. Sky Blue's been doing good stuff lately.
I could see maybe Stat being on Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully Double J is on Rampage, so the guy by Jared is God sign brewing right now. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Double J is on
They
Rampage.
might
Oh,
pop
are
that
y'all
camera on
getting?
you.
Wait. Are y'all getting the mixed tag match with Aubrey, or did that already happen? Is that going to
That's
be a
on Rampage.
Rampage?
That's on Rampage.
I think that is on Rampage. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
your sign is gonna be there. You go. So you're getting that match is gonna be insane because Aubrey hasn't wrestled on TV at all.
And Karen Jarrett's in it too.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all gonna have so much fun! Oh my
This
god!
is gonna be where the spot I kept saying was gonna happen last time, where Jeff is gonna accidentally like nail Karen and have her like fall through a table or some shit. That's gonna happen.
Perfectly placed table.
I hit my wife, but it was on accident.
Totally off.
It was on accident this time.
Totally,
Oh,
Don't
totally
piss me off, Deborah.
totally off the rails here, and I know we're towards the end, so I'll just go off the rails for a second. Patrick got me, put me onto the My World podcast, and I listened to. Have you listened to the latest episode, Pat?
I don't think so. What was the latest episode?
So it was the second to latest. It was Ask Jeff Anything, and the best question was somebody asked Jeff Jarrett his fucking Waffle House order. And
Oh yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
Conrad and Jeff were so hyped. They were like, "So if you're not from America in the South here, we have something called Waffle House."
And Jeff Jarrett is the only person eating steaks from Waffle House.
Oh, that man's ordering steak from Waffle House?
Yes, sir.
wow, tough
Good
like shoe
man.
leather. I know
Good
that
man.
is.
That is a monster of the man to do
Good
that.
man. I'm more of a two eggs and hash browns guy.
Yeah,
From there, but
Snap
Jeff
cap.
Jeff gets 6 eggs. He gets what did you say? He gets like 4 egg whites.
6 egg whites and 1 egg over easy or something.
Jesus. Yeah, hash browns smothered, blubbered, covered, mothered.
Blubber.
Yeah.
Smacked, stacked, peppered, and capped.
There you go.
But yo,
All
shout out to you for putting me on, because that's like probably my 3rd favorite wrestling podcast now.
It's a great podcast. He gets really stoked. Yeah.
All
right,
I
cool.
just watched Jeff Jarrett and RJ City, the Hey EW with Jeff Jarrett.
Hell
if
yeah.
y'all haven't seen that, please go watch it.
I watched it. I love
hilarious.
those. I love those. What's the name of that guy that does the Hey EW?
RJ
thing?
City.
Yeah. RJ City's his name. Yeah.
Check that out.
I love those. The one with one of the early ones with Britt was really good.
Mm-hmm. Brian Danielson, the most recent one, is by far the funniest one, I think.
Hell
Definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, if you're listening to this podcast, subscribe to the channel. If you're in DC, come see us, man. Come see us. If you're in DC, come see us.
Alrighty,
Okay.
and that caps off, slaps, caps, and smothers.
Smothers and blubbers, baby.
Episode 13 of Permanent Marks.
Woo!
Thanks everybody for listening, and thank y'all for coming and being a part of the pod today.
Dig it!